What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're back to work on none other than the stolen GSR with the front cut off that I welded back on, and it's had on this lift for a whole year, and I'm rushing to get it back together. And today we're going to work on something we haven't worked on yet. And that is something that I mentioned probably in one of the first episodes, and something we all noticed together, which was the clearance of the header to the coolant fan. So if you can see here, this clearance here is pretty there is no clearance. It's like very, very tight. I mean, the header's not on either, like bolted on, but you gotta assume that that's way too tight of clearance. So this fan, the car is not gonna have AC, so this fan is fine. The clearance is fine. So essentially, we could just put two of these fans on, but obviously that's a much bigger and stronger fan. So what I decided to do was go online to none other place than eBay.com and buy some coolant stuff. First things first, we don't have any coolant hoses. Whatever hoses are there are just stuff that came off of other cars. So I went online and bought a silicone hose kit. And it didn't just come with, the main upper, lower radiator hoses and the heater hoses. This came with any coolant pipe that I could possibly ever dream of. Disregard the mess on the table, but this came with all these hoses. So this is the lower, this is the upper radiator hose. This is the, this loop that it has in the back of the block. All these hoses came with it, and even came with these clamps, so that saves us a lot of time and money not having to worry about that. Besides that, talking about the real deal here, I bought two 12-inch fans because the stock fans on the car are 12 inches. So I bought the same size fan, but I bought two of them, and I'm running them in tandem in the front. And this is much thinner than the one that's on there. So if you look here, this is approximately where it's gonna sit. And you could see how much thinner it is, probably saving at least 3 or 4 inches of clearance. And if need be, I could also wrap the headers in some heat wrap to also help with the heat management. So this kit came with all the hardware necessary to install this. Now, the question is, what radiator are we gonna use? We could easily use the one that's on the car now. This one doesn't look to be in too terrible shape. I mean, just a little bit of, damage here, but otherwise looks pretty good. But if we go into the supply room, over here, we have a couple other options. Oh wow, honestly, see, this is why I gotta check stuff before I order. I have two half-size radiators here with fans that I could have just ran. This one even has a nice little shroud around it. Look at that. That one's pretty cool. So had I checked that, I would have saved money on the fans, but I still needed the mounting hardware and everything else. And we could use that for different projects. So we have those two that are not gonna work because I want a full-size radiator. So then we have these two options, which is another stock one. This is a manual one. I think this came off of like a JDM front I bought years and years ago. And I think this is an automatic one that came out of the, yeah, this is an automatic. You can see the automatic lines right there. I don't know. I think, honestly, I'm just gonna run this one. I'll run this one. Something happens to this one, I use that as a spare, and I think I have one more stock one at home. If those two fail, then I'll just have to buy an aftermarket one. But that's not what I'm gonna do. And honestly, I could run the half size and run a fan on the front and back, like a push-pull type of method. That will definitely keep it cool. But I'd rather run a full size. This is an Integra. They come with full size, so no point in that. With all this talking, what I'm saying is, today we're doing coolant stuff. So we're gonna route all the coolant pipes. We're gonna put the fans on and hard mount the radiator, everything else. So that way, that's one thing we could check off the list for good, once and for all, and not have to come back to it. One of these fans is hard mounted, the other one is not. I'm little doubtful that this is gonna work in the long run, but let me know what you guys think. So this one, this is the AC fan, is mounted in, and this is how I ran it. So this thing doesn't sit flush here. Oh my god, I think I realized how I did this wrong. This is supposed to be on the other side, and here is supposed to be, I don't actually know. It doesn't make sense either way. It doesn't matter. I put the foam piece underneath here. Foam piece, fan, and then the zip tie. Same thing there, same thing there. And then if we flip it around, this is what it looks like on the front side. So you can't really tell, just 4 little tabs. And the way I put this one in is foam piece, and then the other side, the zip tie. And same thing here. and then everything's the same. However, if you guys can tell here, see this focus. Basically, these zip ties kind of make a big hole. And is the radiator gonna leak from here? What do you guys think? These zip ties are round, so and these fans are tiny, tiny, tiny. So I don't know. You can't even like really look through them. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish mounting these up, and hope that these things don't leak. I kind of want to have a set of zip ties or these zip ties just on order in case it doesn't work, but I'm not sure. Just let me know what you guys think in the comments if I put this in wrong, because I might have. I have to say, for this to be $120, I don't know, I'll put it up on the screen. For this to be under $125 kit, for every single cooling line the car could ever need and has, this is a good deal. Let me show you guys what's left over. So again, disregard the mess, but we have these hoses that remain. I don't remember what this one's for, but I think these have to do with like the intake system and those systems and stuff. The only thing it didn't come with, hate to admit, is the reservoir line. Unless it's this, but I don't know what this line is for. Anyways, that's what's left over. I'm thoroughly impressed. The other kit I bought for the other car a couple years ago, like 2 years ago, that kit was kind of subpar. But this one's nice. Let's look at this. Boom. Nice, clean, nice. Love it. So boom, upper radiator hose. Nice and smooth, no modifications necessary. Lower radiator hose, same. No modifications necessary. All these thermostat hoses, heater core hoses, I did have to modify this one a little bit. It was a little too long, but I fixed it. You guys saw me pull this out of the parts car outside. Still giving up parts. This hose is the one that goes up here. This one's good. This hose, also good. There is something missing here. That's where some of these hoses go to. And the last one was that one right there. So all in all the coolant hoses are in. And I know we didn't talk about this right here, but look at that clearance. Look at that clearance. And this is the header stuff. See that? So even before, like the header was close enough to cause concern, but look at that now. Now we have more than enough space for the radiator fans, but hopefully this little kit didn't cost us the radiator. You know, we'll probably run this with water first to make sure this works, and I am gonna put another one of these in order just to have them, because I don't want to be kind of caught my pants down. But this is good. I would say that as of now, the cooling system is all plumbed up. All we would have to do is pressure test it, which actually means we're just gonna put water in it and see if there's any leaks. Pretty good with that. We need a reservoir tank. I don't know if we're gonna buy one or if we have one laying around. I gotta look for that, and maybe one of the parts cars outside has it, hopefully. And hopefully it has that upper hose that goes here. With that being said, guys, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't, and see you tomorrow for another video. Peace.